I wanted to take another moment to introduce myself. My name is Shruti Thundri, and I am a process control engineer, part of the Control Suite team. So today I'm going to take some time to show you some of the cool features that Control Suite has to offer. So when you come into the office for the day with your cup of coffee and fire up Control Suite, this is the first thing that you're going to see. This here is called a performance map. Each rectangle is representative of an individual control loop. The larger the rectangle, the larger the combination of issues. So this reads a lot like a traffic light. Green means that there's no problem with the loop. Yellow means that it's approaching some kind of threshold that we've set. And red means that we have exceeded that threshold that we have set for the loop. The things that we want to fix are the ones that are large and in red. Those are the ones that have the most payback for your system. So let's take a look at an example of a problematic loop. So right away, we can see that there are some rectangles here that are big and in red. So let's take a look at this loop here. I'm going to right click and show performance report. So what this does is it opens up a performance report of the loop as a whole. So here we can see that this loop has been given a performance score of poor. And on the left, we can see why. It says that the loop performance is poor because there was excessive variation in set point tracking, slow disturbance rejection, and there were dominant oscillations detected. But here it also says that there is a potential actuator problem and that it's time to check the actuator because it's started to affect the performance of our loop. So before I scroll down, I wanted to talk about this here on the right, our result breakdown. To the best of my knowledge, this is something that is unique to Control Suite. It's a flowchart type setup that shows you where your problems could be for this loop. It can be used to help troubleshoot what's going on in the process. So for example, we know this loop is performing poorly, and here we can drill down into our flowchart and see that it's got performance issues because of disturbance rejection or oscillation issues or actuator problems. And here it also says that we've got problems with our set point tracking. So it's just a quick tool that you can use to see where your issues could be. So now I'm going to scroll down to the middle of our chart here. And we can see that there are 4 gauges that are represented. These are the 4 main metrics that Control Suite uses to gauge whether a loop has a problem or not. So that is set point tracking, disturbance rejection, oscillations, and actuator problems. So here on the actuator, we see that this could be a problem because we know we saw that in our highlights. This graph here for a working actuator is supposed to be linear. This looks like somebody's having a bad day at the target range. So let's go take a look at what our loop looks like. So I'm going to right click here again and show trends. So here I can see a trend of my loop. I've got my set point, my PV, and my controller output. Do any of you know what stiction is? I like to use the analogy of pushing a large appliance up a 2-sided ramp. At first, it's really difficult to get the load moving forward. And after the appliance has reached the top, you need to make sure it doesn't fall back down the other side of the ramp and go to the street. This sawtooth-like pattern or shark fin pattern of our controller output indicates that there could be potential stiction. When Control Suite sees this, it recognizes that there may be a stiction issue. You can see that the PV is not moving well. The output is requesting the move, but the valve is not actually moving. What it does is it all of a sudden shoots up and pops down, and that's because the valve is sticking. And that's what causes this kind of behavior in our process variable. So now you can take this information to your maintenance team and show them that there's an issue with the actuator causing stiction in your valve, and they can help to address it. So with that, I will hand it back over to my colleague, Jack.
Thank you, Shruti. And what we'd like to do, because this was a demonstration system, we thought it would be good to show you the before and after results of an actual valve that was repaired in the field. If you note, there was a problem with the loop. We thought it was stiction. The system told us that it was an actuator, and the stiction was in the actuator. So the top graph shows that the process was having trouble with set point tracking, and the bottom graph shows that there was a saturation issue. Maintenance was able to fix the problem without shutting the process down because they were able to loosen the packing nut and increase the air pressure on that valve actuator. The results are displayed on the right-hand side of each of the graphs. Both set point tracking and the saturation index have returned to an acceptable level, which is below the red line represented in the performance threshold. Now, we also have copied the gauge set that we were talking about before. And what you see now are the trends of the two performance metrics calculated and historized for a control loop, and showing that the saturation problems before and after. Obviously, on the top is the before, and on the bottom is the after. And the red line these metrics are calculated on a daily basis, so each dot represents the performance metric value on a given day. And with that, we're going to open the floor. Oh, before I stop, I wanted to tell you there are plenty more assessments done in the Control Suite product. These are just a couple of things that we wanted to show you in a very brief presentation. If you've got questions, and we're going to go to the question and answer period next, please feel free to type them into the chat window, and we'll be happy to answer them for you. If you'd like to see more details, please ask us, and we'll be glad to put a presentation on for you tailored to your organization's needs so that we can help you define the best type of system that you can use.